Good evening. A bizarre story underway tonight that started in the waters off Port Alberni after 5 men from Pakistan jumped from a ship and have since vanished. And there's now a warrant out for their arrest. Kendall Hansen has more details.
Longshoremen are loading raw logs aboard the Chitral, a Pakistani ship that is now short 5 crewmen after they failed to return to the ship by their curfew on Tuesday night. Something that rarely happens despite ships stopping all the time in the Alberni Valley.
I've been here over 3 years and I don't recall another incident where workers off of a foreign ship left and did not return.
For Mike McDowell, who works at the Maritime Discovery Center beside the Port Authority, he thought something was amiss right away when workers were not loading the ship the morning after it arrived.
I also saw some border agents pull up in a van and hop onto the ship, so those type of things definitely started making some sense that something, special was going on.
Their escape into Canada was rather simple. Crewmen are allowed to go into town when they're in port, but these men were supposed to return to the Chitral that night. When the men did not return by 3 a.m. Wednesday morning, their absence was reported to RCMP. They discovered 3 of the men hailed a cab at this Husky. A group of about 10 Pakistanis were inside shortly before, inquiring about SIM cards and where there was a liquor store. The other 2 hailed a United cab from a house on 6th Avenue.
We learned that 3 individuals were taken to the Duke Point ferry terminal and were able to board the last ferry that day. 2 other older males were taken to the Departure Bay ferry terminal where they had missed the last sailing, so we're going to be waiting for a sailing in the morning.
RCMP say there's no indication why they left, and there's nothing to suggest these men pose any threat to Canadian safety. The file has been turned over to Canadian Border Services.
There are warrants. They are warrants of apprehension, and essentially they want to locate these individuals and interview them with respects to why they have left.
Canada Border Services says it's working to catch the men and notes according to the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, they must be paid $25,000 for each mariner who deserts their ship in a Canadian port.